All right. So I did for the last 7 seconds. All right. So I'm making this concoction called Soylent Jeff. I'd already started with a cucumber, so I'm just going to finish up what I'm starting. Not a cucumber, a zucchini. So I lived with this dude named Josh Kucherka, and he was a vegetarian, and he taught me how to cook a couple of vegetarian meals. And I know how to do them, but that doesn't mean that I did them that often. Maybe a pasta thing that I wrote down and lost. But if I ever found it, it'd be really good because I had to write it myself. But he taught me some other things that I just remembered how to make. And he explained the theory to me, why he chose what he did, and I was able to use that to cook this. So here's some zucchinis that I cut up. This plastic bowl is what I'm going to put all the vegetables in. There's a plastic cutting board they usually leave here. And he sent me a back. So here's the other half of the zucchini that I have. Here's one big giant knife that I use to cut everything. So I cut it 3 times this way. That makes it into 4 pieces. And then I cut it one way this way, which cuts it into 8 pieces. And then you just cut it. Boom, 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 boom. It's very important that you don't cut your thumb off. End up like Emo Phillips in the movie UHF. Anyways, you cut the zucchini up until they're small pieces, because those are the pieces you're going to pick, that you're going to cook. And it's up to you to decide how big you want them to be. That's why it's fun cooking them yourself. Find out how you want the pieces. This is a yellow piece of squash. You always wash it off, because who knows if there's E. coli or some other random bad thing out there. If you wash them off, then you don't have to worry about whether or not it's on there, because you washed it off. I'm sure they washed it off in other various pieces of the process, but it doesn't hurt to wash them off again. Some things you have to wash off, like potatoes that just grow in the dirt. That's why there's dirt on potatoes. That's where they come from. So you just take your vegetable and you cut them up. The zucchini and this yellow squash are the 2 vegetables that are just straight up vegetables. And that forms most of the Soylent Jeff. Zucchinis are green. The squashes are yellow. They don't taste like anything particular. They're just, bland. And that's fine. They're vegetables. So like if you eat parts of them, they're vegetables. One zucchini and one squash are about the same size. Now I have 3 different types of bell peppers. Green and red are, I guess, the most famous ones. But there's other colors. More the merrier. So these things have stickers, usually. So you cut one side down the middle, cut the other side down the middle. Then you can pull them apart at the top. So we don't want all the seeds. You just pull them out. You don't want all the seeds, so you just pull them out, and then you wash them off. So I'm going to do that to all these guys. Put down one half, the other half. There was no sticker on this one. So we've got a big old giant thing of seeds here. Just take them off, get rid of it. No seeds. I usually take more of a leisurely pace, but I'm on video, so I'm trying to keep the pace going. So over the summer, I had to figure out how to manage my money. And apparently I spent all my money on food and gas. Now gas, it's really hard to get around that because I go places and do things, and that's how I get to be me. So with food, I never really got around to getting those life skills on how food works because I'd always been going to college. You just got to get food, get on the go, 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 go. And this particular summer, I had to get by with $1,000 a month less per month, just because of the way I got paid as a teacher. I didn't work the whole year because I was a replacement teacher, so I didn't have a whole year's worth of pay set aside for summer. I guess I forgot. Sticker. So I'm cutting these up, and you just want to get them cut up. I mean, they're bell peppers, and you already took out the seeds. Now you have to make them smaller. So this one I just started cutting, but I didn't talk about it. So I'll talk about the second half. Okay, so here's half of a bell pepper. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to cut it this way as opposed to that way, just because. I cut them about 1/4 inch at a time, just because that's about how big I've seen them on pizzas. No reason other than that. So now I have a bunch of slices that are a couple inches long and 1/4 inch wide. So I just make them smaller. In this case, they're all cutting down to about 1/4 to 1/2 inch at a time. Because sometimes I bake this food, sometimes I stir fry it. If I stir fry it, that means I have to control it with a spoon or a fork or whatever it is you call these wooden spoons. So the various bell peppers starts to give Soylent Jeff its taste. When you put salt and pepper on something, that's different than these peppers. That's what I didn't know. So peppers have taste, peppery, right? And it's a lot stronger than the taste of zucchini or squash. So it also forms the bulk of what it is that we're eating. You know, I thought vegetarians just have a salad, a bowl of rice, and carrots. You know, no, they eat good and they care about what they eat. They just don't use meat. So started boiling these vegetables, including like broccoli and cauliflower, because I know what they are and I like them. But I didn't really know what I was doing. But I was at least trying. Cooking food instead of getting food. Preparing food instead of making a sandwich and fixing a bowl of cereal. Actually buying these ingredients. So when I finally started to add meat to it, because I'm not a vegetarian, but I'm not anti-vegetarian, and I was just cooking this vegetarian stuff that my friend showed me. When I finally decided to buy some chicken and break the chicken up into little pieces and then stir fry the vegetables with the chicken, because that's how you would cook the chicken. When cooking meat is totally different than cooking vegetables, so I experimented for a month with vegetables before I even attempted to use meat. So I could use like potatoes or refried beans. You don't have to have meat with everything. If you eat your food as you prepare it, the vegetables, you can't feel guilty, right? So I was getting groceries from Safeway. That's where Josh and I got groceries from back in the early 2000s. The Safeway in Sacramento, near where I live now, as a matter of fact. Anyways, the vegetables are super expensive. Apparently, if you get them at the grocery outlet on Harbor Boulevard instead of Safeway, it's a whole lot cheaper for vegetables. And since I don't really know what I'm doing, it's better to do it with cheaper vegetables than super expensive Safeway vegetables. So we've got zucchini and squash, and then different colors of bell peppers. That's most of this. What we're going to add now is onion, jalapenos, and garlic. These are the things that give it more of the taste. Onion means turn on the fan and try to not cry. I cut it in half first, and I cut off the end. Some pretty, they're onions, you gotta take off the layer. You think it's silly that I'm talking about these basic steps? Well, I took cooking in 9th grade with Mark Manning, and cooking in 9th grade at Willis Jepson was also called time to do geometry homework, because we got this flat surface, we could do geometry homework in cooking class. Mark's the smartest dude I knew. He would just absorb the information in 1 second. I would absorb it in 2 seconds, but we had all the time to do geometry homework, and I never really got out of cooking class what I was supposed to get, other than when you measure cinnamon, you pack it down, but when you measure other things, you don't pack it down, or something, I don't know. Or brown sugar, I don't know. Like I said, I don't remember anything from it. Got any in geometry though. Mr. Putty. Alright, so we cut the onions up. So I got this half of an onion. You just have to chop your onions however you want to. There's other ways to do it. The way that I'm doing it isn't the only way. Alright, so here's half an onion. I'm just going to chop it this way, and turn it and chop it that way, and that should be enough. And the important thing is to not cut your fingers and get blood everywhere. They tell you can move your fingers this way or that way, but I listen to half the advice and half the advice I don't listen to. My roommate knows how to cook and tells me one thing. My friend Sarah, she knows how to cook and tells me different things. And I ignore them both and do my own thing. I think my fish is always overcooked, but I like it. I'm trying to experiment with not overcooking my fish. So you just cut the onions down to the sizes that you like. I used to get AM/PM burgers at AM/PM. You'd have chopped onions to go with chili. And whoever chops the onions do it different depending on the onion. Alright. So jalapenos. These are big jalapenos, so 2 of them are probably fine. Or you can do 3, more the merrier, jalapenos. I don't like jalapenos when I have like Subways and stuff, because it takes over the flavor of the whole sandwich. Whatever you have is like nice flavor you had. Now it's jalapeno, But with this stuff that I'm making, it's mostly all vegetables. The onions, the jalapenos, and the garlic really give it its flavor. And that's what I'm going for, as I can tell. There's other vegetables that give different flavors, but I don't know the difference in all of those. These are just the vegetables that I know. And in this context, I like the jalapenos because I'm trying to make it vegetables that you just like as is. Okay, so I cut the end off the jalapeno, cut it in half. Now I'm going to scoop this stuff out with that. So like this. I just scoop it out and wash it. Now, the juice from jalapenos can stick to your hands, so you probably should wear rubber gloves or something like that. So I just scoop it out or spoon it out. I try to not have the seeds in here. If you like seeds, you're welcome to keep them in. I haven't experimented to the point where I keep seeds in, but so now I have 4 of these guys that are cleaned out, and then you just cut them up and make them smaller. So I put 2 on top of each other, cut them in half. The other 2 on top of each other, cut them in half. And then take these guys and cut them up small. If you've never done it before, cutting vegetables is intimidating because you don't know if you're doing them right. So I'm just telling you that you have to cut them up into smaller pieces. Those are the pieces you're going to cook with and eat with. So make them smallish. I did a proper cooking video like this after my surgery, but I was actually on Norco. I was too terrified to publish it because I was actually on Norco. Food. I had the energy to do it because I was on Norco. Alright, so I've got garlic. You can get garlic separately. These little cloves or clumps or whatever. Or for the same price, you can get them already peeled. So I got them already peeled. If you want to figure out how garlic works, you're more welcome to. So I decided to go for this many pieces of garlic, and I picked them only because they're kind of bigger, so I can slice them up. And you can get more or less. It's garlic. That's how it works. So I'm going to take this up and slice it into as many slices as I can. Depending on what you want to cook, you might want to leave this garlic as actual slices, kind of like cornflakes, but made of garlic. Or you can just chop it up in pieces, have garlic all over the place. Sometimes I can get them to make them look like a gourmet slicer or something. But right now I'm just going to chop it. I'll go forever. Usually I slice up each piece of garlic separately to try and get as many nice slices as possible. Because when I bake my fish in it, then it can sit on top of slices of garlic, and then you have this garlic slice that's soaking up in jalapenos, juice, and fish juice. You know, all the vegetables taste super good. So I took my garlic and I smashed it up as small as I can. So this is all of what Soylent Jeff is. I'm going to officially stir it with my big knife. It's science and physics. How when you stir it slowly, it just magically makes it so it's all nice and uniform. As long as you keep stirring it, it'll work itself out. But I just kind of use the knife to get started. I happen to have this fork here. I think it's really good here. Alright. So, zucchini, squash, a variety of bell peppers. I picked 4 bell peppers for this one. I started off with 2 of them, and I eventually started incorporating the other one. Onions, jalapeno peppers, and garlic. That's Soylent Jeff. Now, I happen to have some sliced mushrooms, so I'm going to add sliced mushrooms to this. Because mushrooms go bad after a couple days, use them in a week, so I don't always have mushrooms. Just when I buy vegetables, I buy mushrooms. So this is like the bonus part. So I just kind of dump it out there. Hopefully these mushrooms got washed before they got put in here. I don't have OCD, but all my friends do. Alright. So now what I'm going to do, I've got a pan. Oil in the pan, because why mess up the pan when you can just mess up the oil? So I put mushrooms first. I want everything to be on top of the mushrooms. These get, just make a bed of vegetables. This happens to be thin, boneless chicken. That's going to lay on top. I just laid it on top of my vegetables like that. Some vegetables on top of the chicken. Then I probably should have preheated it, but I put it on 350. Turn off the camera, set my timer for 1 hour. But first, we put a potato in there. I'm cooking chicken, which you have to cook for like a whole hour. Because of salmonella or something. It takes about an hour to make a potato. So, because I'm actually baking something for an hour, I may as well bake a potato with it. So this is another one of the bonus things. And I just happen to have some Brussels sprouts here. I'll cut them up and put them in the next batch. I forgot, so it's all good. Now this is the avocado. I can save this, or I can cut up half of it and use half of it for the food that I'm doing now, but add the avocado during the last 10 minutes of the cooking process, because avocado is a different kind of vegetable than these guys. Or not. Potatoes are optional things. Avocados are optional. Brussels sprouts. Remember my mom used them, so I'm just trying these out. Refried beans, that'd also be an optional thing. Alright. So, this just goes in the fridge for next time. Forgot. I use these to make breakfast, so I'm going to show you how to make breakfast. Got the skillet, turn the heat on. Now I got some vegetable oil. This is pure canola oil. I don't know the difference between various oils. This is just something. So you put some oil on here. Apparently the way it works is that the pan heats the oil and the oil heats the food. And the food won't get heated up by the pan as much as from the oil. It'll save the pan. So here's my stuff. Just grab a fistful and toss it in there. Just wanted to eat the food as you make it. There's only so much food that'll fit on there. Alright. Cooking this stuff involves a wooden spoon. And I got it on high at the moment. Once it gets cooking, and you know when it's cooking because it's going to be on high, then you can turn it down to like 5 or 6 or something. It doesn't have to be on high all the time, but you can get it heated up to start. Here's my potato. So I made an X with my potato. I put it on the rack next to this. That says 105. That means my food says 205. This is really midnight. Time change happened recently, but we haven't changed the time over there. Alright. Turning this down to 4, I guess. So cooking vegetables takes about 10 minutes or so, and you cook them until they're done. You decide what done is. If you don't cook them enough, then they're just vegetables that are undercooked, which is fine. It's not like undercooking rice or something. Chicken next time. Freeze meat, it's a hassle to unfreeze it. So I had to actually thaw it out before I could cook it. Which means I had to not cook it for a whole day by leaving it in the fridge. To thaw out. I'm too impatient. I buy fish with these little fillets, and fish you don't have to cook with one with chicken. Like a half an hour at 350 instead of an hour. My fish starts off frozen. But fish is just different than chicken, different kind of meat. Alright, so I am putting this chicken away for later. When I bake, it takes up a certain amount of food. When I make vegetable stir frying, it takes up a certain amount. Found some refried beans. So all the food I'm eating here, even if you're eating the food that you're cooking, it's just good, raw vegetables. Alright, so I've got a smaller pan for refried beans. That's up here. My roommate asked that I have a little bit of water in there. Because he says it does something good. It's his stuff I use, so I'll do what he says. Right, so these vegetables are going to be used to make breakfast burritos or omelets, but not actually omelets. I don't know exactly how the shell of an omelet works, but I know how burritos work. These are eggs. guy named Vishal showed me how to do the egg portion of this omelet. I already knew how to crack eggs, because I can fry an egg. If I wanted to fry eggs. I wasn't much of an egg person, so I never fried eggs that often, but I knew how to. When you fry eggs, you have to clean up after yourself. But if you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, it's not that much to clean up. Put the bread away. But when you make things with eggs, you actually have to do stuff. So I just did stuff that didn't involve cleaning. So now I've got two things cooking at once, which I can do as long as I pay attention. So I'm actually doing a cooking show. I'll try to do my best to pay attention, but I'd actually forgotten that I was cooking these beans over here, so I have to remember that. My friend Josh said that you can cook anything at any temperature you want, as long as you're willing to give it enough attention. I'm not willing to give it that much attention, so I have to turn the heat down on that. Okay. Alright, so I've got 4 eggs in here. I've got to whip them up so it's egg goo, because that's what we need for this omelet stuff. You boil an egg, you don't crack it, right? You boil it, and if you scramble an egg, I don't know how they make scrambled eggs some ways. I haven't made scrambled eggs yet. But I made fried eggs, and you try and make them not look stupid. Well, this is almond stuff, so I'd actually mix it up. Alright, so my vegetables are pretty cooked. I think they're pretty cooked, but I mean they could be cooked more, but no, they're good. So I'm going to take this stuff out here. I'm going to kind of pour about half of it in. Just start cooking the half that I put in there. And then we try to make all the egg stuff that I put in there get mostly cooked in the various places with the vegetables in between it. So you got to let it cook, and then you got to stir it. I've been stirring it all this time, just trying to get the vegetables on one spot. But now I'm going to actually let it sit and cook for a little bit. Refried beans are beans that have been cooked in a certain way, probably fried, and then they refried them. And so it's cooked, we just have to heat it up. So this stuff down here looks like it's heated up. I'm going to heat up a little bit more just because. my beans are cooked as much as they're gonna get. I'm gonna turn it off. This stuff here, I'm cooking it more. So I'd rather the eggs not be undercooked. So this is the part that I want to make sure that it's all cooked. And I've got tortillas. I have a couple of bigger ones left for burritos. And then these are smaller ones also for burritos. So I'm easy. These bigger ones are cool, but they're too big to fit in the Tupperware things I want. So I'm actually going to try these smaller ones, even though I have some bigger ones. So I anticipate that I'm going to get 4 good burritos for later. So I take out 4 tortillas. I just throw them in the microwave for a minute. So I guess this is like scrambled eggs with vegetables in them. Maybe that's what we're looking at. All right, so now I'm turning this off, letting it cook a little bit. Again, at this point, we could have our avocado and cut it up and do some experimenting, but I'm not going to do it on camera at the moment. All right, first tortilla. There's that. Got some refried beans. And make a nice little bed of refried beans. Put a certain amount of this stuff on here. Girl named Amanda showed me how to hold on Taco Bell style. And then Felicia Day said you have to impose your will on the burrito. Not the burrito, exactly. So if I make the potato to go with this, and I have potatoes and refried beans and all this vegetable stuff. If I didn't put eggs in here, then it wouldn't be a breakfast burrito. It will instead be just a vegetarian burrito. And got baked potatoes, refried beans, and vegetables. That form the basis of some good foodstuffs. That's what I have for breakfast. That's what I have for lunch. If I want to just grab something out of the fridge. Second burrito. I forgot to put the refried beans on there first. Good news is, it's hard to mess this stuff up. You eventually get a feel for what's too much for one burrito. And I'm not going to give you techniques on folding a burrito. You have to figure it out yourself by making burritos. So there's only this much left for me to put on there. Heat it now. Tupperware here. Some view for me. Alright, so these are 3 burritos for later. Put them in the fridge. Got tortillas for later. I don't use eggs, but I can put in like hot sauce. Dip. And put everything away. That was Soylent Jeff. There's a breakfast burrito. It's Soylent Jeff. And refried beans. And mushroom. Alright, subscribe to King Back Road.